Good morning and welcome to another edition of Drafting Some Best Balls, Ripping Some Packs. It is playoff best ball time, my favorite time of the year. How are we all doing? January 5th, had some good news last night. Looks like he's starting to feel a little better, looking like maybe not even some long-term neurological damage. So that is fantastic news. And yeah, yesterday was a busy, crazy day. Lot of stuff happening. We had the town hall. We had stream with TJ on this. We're gonna keep them pumping. So it is Thursday. We've got another show today. We've got a show tomorrow. We're gonna be doing this all next week. We're gonna give away another pack today. We'll see. We'll see what else we got in store. Let me hear it in chat. And now that today's just going to be a little one-on-one, which I like because it allows me to kind of spend a little more time. If you guys have questions in chat, if there's anything you guys want to talk through, I'm happy to talk through some strategy. I think most exciting, interesting news right now with Underdog is, if you saw, I posted it, they just actually announced a brand new tournament structure. So the Mitten 3 just went live this morning. This is the first one that I think has had this kind of friendly of a structure, I would say, to get to the final round. So 2 out of 6 advance. We've seen this once before with one of the Mittens. I like this because you can go a little crazy, or go a little off the board. Don't need to hit the absolute nuts in the first round. Then again, 2 out of 12 advance to the round 3. And then 2 out of 20 advance the round 4 with that 314 team final. We'll draft one of these shortly. I think the biggest change from a strategic element in my mind is I am far more willing to take chances with only drafting 2 teams and really stack for that last round. If we look at the prizes, you're seeing about 35 out of 250K. So that's a little more than 15, like 17% going to first, and you've got to beat out 313 other teams in that final. So if you make it to the Super Bowl, unless it's really the 2 1 seeds going against each other, you're really going to need to have a perfect team for that Super Bowl. So that's what I'm thinking is we'll do one of these drafts, and our goal really is like, hey, focus on 2 teams, maybe 3 teams. Want to obviously be able to advance. 2 out of 12, 2 out of 20 is not that easy to advance, obviously. But the most important is those prizes at the very end, getting to that high end, having a chance at that 35K and beating out the 300 other plus teams. So we'll jump into that. We will also rip open a TOC playoff best ball pack. For people who are not familiar with what either of these are, we will talk through them. Don't worry. This is the best time of year with playoff best ball, and combining both the TOC packs as well as the Underdog drafts. What a fantastic winter marriage. So starting off, if you are not familiar with what Underdog is, if you have been under a rock, that is okay. Sign up, download it. The link is in the show notes below, or just go download the app, use promo code OTM. You will get a $100 deposit bonus for first-time depositors. You will also get 2 free TOC playoff best ball packs. We'll talk through it all. I think that's a pretty good start. Let's hop in a draft, and I see we've got a question or 2 in chat already, so I will hop through those 2 as well. But let's get this going. we are going to jump into one of these mittens. If you are interested in joining us, I'm going to give it a couple seconds because I know there's a delay. So if you are ready, hopefully you clicked it right when you said it. So we're getting close. I'm going to do it about 5, 4. Let's go. Okay. All right. First question. Let's see. We are first one in. So hopefully now you guys are able to join. We've got waiting for 5 people. 4 people. Let me make sure I definitely grabbed the correct one here. Yep, mitten 3. There we go. We are starting to fill. All good. All good. Okay. I see. So Jonathan asking, in your opinion, do you think it is better to wait for mitten 3 to wait for results on Sunday or draft sooner, and why? Great question. For me, I think that there is already, we already have a substantial amount of clarity on what the teams are going to be. What will happen once the teams are completely finalized next week is it's going to be very hard to get any talent in the 9th, 10th round. Because if you do the math on the skill players, the amount of players that are drafted, 6 teams, 10 players, 60 teams, and we're really only looking at 22? No, 13. It's 7 on each side, so 14. So you're only looking at 14 teams. And then a lot of those, the players that aren't that great, it basically comes out to at the end of the drafts, they're going to get really bad. This is the opportunity now to kind of take some chances on, hey, get those stacks and make a bet that you think the Packers or you think the Jaguars, because while you may not want to go with a full stack for those 2 teams, just getting a one-off is going to be helpful. And those one-offs are going to be extremely difficult to find once the teams are fully finalized, because now no one is going to be drafting any, maybe it's Dolphins, maybe it, whatever those fringe teams are. The other is, I would say, is I still think right now there's some early value for some of the lagging teams. So I've got Tampa, you've got Godwin, you've got Evans, you got Brady that are still kind of going in the later ends of the draft. We're seeing these continue to move up as a result. Chargers, same thing. We're in that middle part. I think they're likely locked in. I don't know if they're locked in the 5 seed, but very heavily into the 5 seed. So they'll probably get that first round matchup either at Jacksonville, at Tennessee. That's one that I want to be targeting. But in general, I would say don't draft in fear, because you might end up with one of those teams that misses it. Use this opportunity now to get some good drafts in. And then again, next week, we'll see how things shuffle. I see Mark. Should have just gone in 2 at the same time, Mark. Next time. That's okay. Okay. So we've got San Francisco starting off. We're going to want to see, okay, we'll put Debo in the queue here. If Diggs or Kelsey or Chase were available, I probably would have gone with the AFC. But if you're going Higgins here, you already missed out on the Chase aspect. So instead, I'm just going to keep stacking on my San Francisco side. Start putting in the queue here some of the other 49ers. We'll go all the way to Elijah. And now I was just talking about the Chargers. We'll probably keep an eye on them as well. See if Eckler ends up going. You could still go Chiefs as well, expecting that the Chiefs are going to be getting the 1 seed. Latest report this morning is that the latest lean is that game will not play, and they'll just go by overall record, which means that if the Chiefs win this weekend against the Raiders, which is something like an 84-85% chance to win, they would then have the 1 seed. Yes, they missed that first game, but it makes it more attractive than to only grab a 2-piece of Jarek and a Kadarius Toney later on, because you're still getting pieces of that Super Bowl if it's San Francisco, Kansas City, but you're not going too heavy on the Chiefs early on that you need to grab a second QB because you got Mahomes, or you just have a lot more difficult time of getting out of the first round. Okay, so we'll see what kind of falls here. We've got Kittle at the top of the queue. We're still considering going for that Chargers one. You look here and, oh, okay, McKinnon just went. Another thing that's kind of tempting here is I see like Higgins and Mixon, and I'm like, could I maybe grab one and get the other? But what I would then do is look to see, okay, X Muggsy here has Burrow and Chase. He's almost guaranteed to grab at least one of the Bengals. So I got to be careful to think like, hey, I don't want to get greedy and think, oh, I can get this because another one's going to fall, when almost assuredly this person is going to be taking that Bengal. So I'm going to grab Eckler here. Reason why I grab Eckler instead of Kittle is because I'm the only one that's already drafted a 49er. No one else has kind of said, hey, I'm trying to do a 49er stack. It's more likely that Kittle falls to me on the comeback here at 22 than Eckler, who's the beginning of a new stack that someone's like, hey, I can grab Eckler and I can start stacking the Chargers. And if we were to start looking through who made that, another thing to keep in mind here is box bump. So box bump here started with Kelsey and Diggs. What that tells me is that this person is not really going to be optimizing on stacks and going for the Super Bowl because they already used first round capital on two players that cannot play in the Super Bowl. So we've got to be cognizant of, hey, box bump is probably going to be someone we need to be considered, may just do some one-off snipes, while someone like Muggsy, we can have confidence that, hey, this person's a little sharper. This person knows what they're doing, where if they're going with a Cincy stack, it's unlikely they're going to be sniping too many AFC players for us. And we'll take a look at Gobbler. Similarly, Gobbler going with the full 49ers stack. I actually really like that for this structure with the mitten 2 because you only need to finish top 2. We'll see what Gobbler ends up doing with the rest of the picks to make sure to give themselves a chance of getting out of the first round. All right, Muggsy here. Not happy. Muggsy ended up grabbing Kittle there. We've got Ayuk at the top. We also have the Keenan Allen aspect. If I have to choose between those two, they're both really strong. Ayuk's got a little higher. I'm going to grab Keenan just because none of these people have taken any 49ers yet. And Ayuk is kind of the end of the stack, while maybe one of them could talk themselves into saying, hey, Keenan, yeah, Eckler's gone, but I could still go Herbert and Mike Williams. So that's why I went Keenan first. I probably could have looked and seen like, okay, Kentucky Buckeye here has Kansas City, Minnesota. And here's a Buffalo, Dallas. So most likely they should, both of them be fairly safe. Maybe. Like, I don't expect footballer to grab a San Francisco when you've already got two guys from the Dallas side. We'll see. I'm going to start putting up some more Chargers in my queue. Nice thing about the Chargers is, they have a couple highly concentrated players at the top with like Eckler. Keenan's target share has been insane. Mike Williams has had a couple spike games more recently, but like we know he has the upside. But they also have guys at the back end like Josh Palmer and Gerald Everett where, okay, we got Ayuk to fall to us. We're happy with that. But what I was finishing is like you also have guys at the back end like Josh Palmer and Gerald Everett that still can put up points. And if there was an injury to Keenan or Mike Williams, we've seen Josh Palmer have basically a wide receiver 2 like season when one or two of them are hurt. Ayuk has really been on fire with Brock Purdy. One thing I don't love with the Underdog, and I gave the team this feedback, is with this structure, because it's best ball, they're still using, if you look at a player, they're showing season-wise here. What I would love for them to do in the next year for mid-season and postseason is show the game log, because I don't know, it's just not as helpful for me right now to see 2021 stats, and obviously 2023 means nothing. So there's just a bit of wasted space there, but Ayuk has been on fire with Purdy lately. Mike Williams just went. Gobbler went with the Herbert and Mike Williams. That's what he's trying to do for the Philly side. Can't really blame it. I'm not a huge fan of it when you already knew Eckler and Keenan were gone. I think it would have made more sense for him to wait a little and grab like a Ravens one, so he's not wasting as much draft capital on QB so early on a team that's already been taken. This is us now. We need to figure out where do we want to. Wow, and Purdy went as well. Oh gosh. Okay. We are into adapting mode. Okay. We're gonna go to Lamar. Is there something? Do we want to grab Barkley? No, we can't do that. All right. We're gonna grab Lamar. So looking at the team now, Eckler, Keenan, or McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, we basically are deciding that two of those are not going to be used in the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with the Lamar one here. Now build out a Ravens stack. Still some late, like it's crazy how cheap that the Ravens continue to be. Obviously, there's some concern with Lamar that he still didn't practice yesterday, and the team expects, the team is saying that, hey, they expect him back at least by the playoffs. But like also, this isn't the first time that Baltimore's kind of played a little loose with the injury reports with Lamar. I think it was a year or so back when he was expected to be back pretty quickly, and then it just kind of dragged on. I'm still making bets that Lamar will be back, and they just know that these games don't matter that much. They've basically been 98% to make the playoffs like since 3 weeks ago, and they just want him to be fully healthy. That's what I'm hoping at least. So we'll continue through. We're now no longer going to grab any Chargers, so I can take these out of my queue. We're at 7th round, so if things fall right, we can go 7th Mark, 8th Dobbins, 9th Elijah, and then 10th I'm leaning towards a Jimmy Garoppolo. There's still a chance that Jimmy comes back. Maybe it would be for the conference, maybe for the Super Bowl. I think it's a unique pick at this point. And most importantly, it keeps my San Francisco LAC hopes just a tiny bit alive, where we're basically playing this to be that it's either a Baltimore-San Francisco Super Bowl or Baltimore does well and Chargers go to the Super Bowl on that side. But then we also need Jimmy to be the starter. It's a stretch, but when you get backed into a corner, we'll take a look at who was the ones who sniped Purdy and stuff, because it was the guy that we said it was a risk, Box Purdy. Going with this, grabbed a naked Brock Purdy with no one to stack with. That's the trouble when drafting with someone who doesn't, understand the structure and what they're really going for. It's frustrating, but you got to live with it. All right. We'll grab Dobbins. Put Jimmy G in the queue here. Could go Gus Edwards instead of Elijah Mitchell. So Elijah Mitchell is to be activated from the IR. He's in this 21-day window right now. Why I kind of like Elijah Mitchell is we had seen that when Elijah and CMC were both in there together, they kind of wanted to limit CMC's, between the tackles usage. And especially when they were ahead, they were using Elijah a decent amount. And so if we're going to be making a bet that like, hey, San Francisco is going to be making it to the Super Bowl, that means they're ahead in games. Maybe they want to use Elijah a little more. And so if he can get healthy, there's still a week and a half until the actual first game. And the truth is, even if he missed the first game, we've still got enough firepower that as long as he gets healthy somewhat during the playoffs, it helps us during those more difficult later rounds in the Super Bowl. I think that'd be most important. So I'm still kind of bullish on Elijah, but we're going to have to continue to monitor the injury reports and how he's looking. Okay. And I'll take a look back at chat after this. We can talk through, review a draft or two. I know Kentucky Buckeyes in here. All right, let's grab that Elijah Mitchell. Now, this is going to turn into a 2-4-4-2 structure, which traditionally I don't love. I usually would rather do like a 1-4-5 or a 2-3. Wait. 1-4-5 or a I'm struggling. All right, let's go. We'll take Elijah Mitchell. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna get 244 here. What I was saying is a 145 or a 235. Because we only have to start one running back, we just start two wide receivers. But in this draft, I do feel pretty strongly with where we stand from a wide receivers wise. We are really, really strong at running back. So there's a decent argument that instead of Elijah Mitchell, we probably could have gone another one of the pass catchers. But like, again, I don't want to invest too much in the Chargers because our only out there is the random Jimmy aspect. Demarcus Robinson has become like the number one wide receiver on the team, but it's still pretty fringe. It's still tough to really pull the trigger there compared to an Elijah Mitchell who could be a substantial contributor. So that's okay. Unless Box Bump goes for the fourth QB on his team, we'll be able to grab Jimmy here. And we ended up with a bit of a unique team. So Super Bowl wise, need San Francisco. On the San Francisco side, we've got four of their top five skill players. We got Christian, we got Elijah, we got Debo, we got Ayuk. We just don't have Kittle. On the AFC side, if it ends up being a Chargers Super Bowl, we have their top two in Eckler and Keenan. We would just need Jimmy to play. If it's the Ravens, we've got Lamar, Dobbins, and Mark Andrews, which is a highly concentrated offense. We'll see how much of a role Gus Edwards has, but last game he actually only had, I think it was like 2 or 3 touches, and it was all in the first half. Maybe it was offensive coordinator Roman. Maybe, he got some criticism there from Harbaugh. Maybe they'll use him more, but I still feel more confident that like Dobbins is going to be a bit more of a workhorse, or at least the larger side of that timeshare, that committee in the playoffs. All right, let's take a quick look. Kentucky Buckeye, let's take a look at your team because I know you're in chat. So Kentucky Buckeye went with a single Mahomes, Jarek Barkley, Zeke. So we've got Mahomes, McKinnon, Juju, Tony, and MVS. That's 5 Chiefs. Great if the Chiefs make it. I think here's my challenge with this team is right now it looks like the Chiefs are going to be getting that number 1 bye. And so if they get the bye, then you're only, you're basically deciding that, hey, this team is dead in the first round, even though it's 2 out of 6, but you don't have another QB. You even drafted Dallas Goedert, so you only have 4 total players that be playing in the wild card round. This can be an arbitrage situation where it's like, hey, I'm going to draft this because if the Chiefs don't get the 1 seed, then this could have be looking pretty good. I don't hate that. I probably would, though, in this situation, wait until next week because once we know, because if the Chiefs ended up getting the 2 seed and they're playing the first round, I don't think their ADP substantially change. I think you'd still be able to grab most of these guys around this spot because a week ago, when it was when it was a little closer to them being the 2 seed, they were still around these ADPs. That's my only thought there. Otherwise, though, hey, if the Chiefs end up with the 2 seed, you're very strong there. And then on the other side, you've got kind of some one-offs for what that Super Bowl matchup could be. I probably want to get a little more concentrated on teams, but not too bad. Okay. Tyrion Charles asking, is there Garoppolo's news? I thought he was done. Last I saw is that there is still a possibility. There is still a possibility that he would come back. Let me see if I see anything right now. I'll take a look a little more later. But last I was seeing is that, hey, there's still a chance that health-wise he could come back. I know the cast was removed, that he could come back for the playoffs. I think, honestly, though, there's also a question of, hey, even if he was back for, like, the conference championship, would they actually bring him back? Like, or would Purdy actually still have the job over him if Purdy's done well, if Purdy would have led them to the championship game, led him to the Super Bowl? It's definitely a very fringe pick. And, in general, I probably won't be doing many of them. But in this situation, compared to what else I was looking at. I think it was worth the chance. And hey, there's definitely a contrarian aspect too. If there's a Super Bowl and Jimmy's the guy you need, he's going to be extremely, extremely low owned. So for a $5 mitten with 35K up top, I'm willing to take that chance. Okay. That's I think that's good for an underdog. I think it's time to let's switch over a little and open an owners club pack. Okay. We're also going to be giving this away. So maybe it's time to give out the code word. Let's see. How about mitten exclamation point? Put mitten exclamation point in the chat, and you will be entered into giving this pack away a little later. But for those who are not familiar, so this is TOC Playoff Best Ball. It is a free-to-play game with about $5,000 in prizes spread out atop the top 10 spots. What the general structure is you get a pack of 20 cards. Each card represents a city and a position group. So rather being specific players, you're getting the entire position group. So you could get something like Cincinnati wide receivers, and you're not just getting Chase or Higgins or Boyd, you're getting them all. And best ball style, you take those 20, you select 12. Those 12 become your team for the playoffs. And it's cumulative scoring. Most points ends up winning. Slightly different scoring structure where QB's touchdowns are worth 6 and there's 0 PPR, and a little couple extra bonuses for if your defense does well, trying to make each of these cards about the same amount of projected points on a positional basis. Come on, chat. 1 through 10 going left to right. This is 5. This is 6. This is 10. This is 1. What number should we be pulling today? I mean, it's up to you all. You got to let me know, because one of you in chat are the one that's going to be taking home and cheering on this pack throughout the playoffs. We'll get that over to you, and it's up to you what you end up locking in, but we'll make some teams today. So, okay, waiting for the delay to chat to tell me which one we're going to be choosing. Number 3, 2 people in a row going 3. That must be what we're going. You guys like that middle and center. I'm pretty sure I got sound on. Let's go. Okay. We got Kansas City. I'm going to mute it just so you guys can hear me a little better. Kansas City QB starting off strong. We got Green Bay QB, Dallas running backs, Jacksonville running backs, Dallas wide receivers. We're getting a little Dallas stack building here. Some San Francisco. Ooh, a little San Francisco stack as well. Some strong tight ends with Kittle and Goddard. Oh, you are. We got some pretty stuff building here. A lot of mini stacks already starting. Oh, then we get some Cincy going. Oh gosh, this is a tough card because of how many kind of stacks we got going. Pretty exciting. Okay, so starting off, we've got some mini stacks. We got some 3s. I'm gonna mute this. So Dolphins is interesting because they're actually the least likely team to make the playoffs from the ones in the packs. But thankfully, we do not need to make that decision today. We could always loop them in later on. But even though it's a 3-team stack, Gesicki really hasn't done much. Miami D is fine. Miami wide receivers would absolutely love with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Trent Sherfield. So maybe you can consider that as a one-off. But for now, we're going to hold off on including them. Let's see. There's a lot more NFC than AFC. So I'm going to start with the AFC. We're going to lock in Burrow. We're going to lock in Mixon and P. Ryan and a Cincinnati D. Okay. What else do we want to look at here? So obviously we love Mahomes and Kansas City quarterback, but it's just a one-off. and they're most likely getting the bye. So you're really limited here from how many points you can get without like getting crushed. But I guess we have the DST too. Because even if they make it to the Super Bowl, that's how you get 3 games from them. But then you're expecting McKinnon, Pacheco for the running backs. You're expecting that wide range of wide receivers, respecting Kelsey. So I'm probably going to fade the Kansas City here. We've got the Cincinnati. San Francisco, I think, is the strongest team in the NFC from a likely playing in the wild card game. Still has the opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl. We're getting some strong here with Ayuk, as I mentioned, has been on fire, and you still have some one-off other guys on there. Tight end, we've got Kittle, DSTs, arguably the best defense in the league. So if we're thinking this is going to be kind of our core, what do we want to build around? I think Dallas running back, Dallas wide receiver is too strong to not include. You've just got like very high concentrated projections from these offenses. Here you're getting both Pollard and Zeke. Here you're getting Lamb. You're getting Michael Gallup. You're getting newly joined T.Y. Hilton. Like there's still a lot of talent there. And these two likely would not play each other in this second round. Dallas is going to play Tampa, so that's 5-4. If they win, they would then go play Philly, unless we get the Giants to upset the Vikings. So most likely, because we're assuming San Francisco would then win because they'd be advancing. So the only way would be, assuming that Eagles get the first seed, would be if the Giants upset. So I think it's safe to have these. We can get multiple games out of each, not play each other in the conference championship. And then you'd actually be getting 4 games out of one of the two because they're advancing to the Super Bowl if they play each other. Okay, positional wise, we got 2 DST. We're good there. Tight end, we have Kittle and such. We can maybe throw on another, but we can play by ear there. Probably need another QB. Let's see. We're not going to go Tampa because we got 2 Dallas here. I'll pause and see, like, okay, has Chapman helping out? Maybe some ideas here. I'm going to read through. So, yeah, Jesse, this pack is looking nice. Jonathan, disregard Miami. I agree. For now, we will. If Miami makes the playoff, maybe we consider, I probably consider that Miami wide receiver one off. Let's see. Mark saying Jags running back wide receiver would help a smidge in the AFC. I think that's true. Let's go with that. If Jacksonville ends up not making the playoffs because they get upset by Tennessee, then hey, we'll reassess. We'll get rid of the Jacksonville ones and we can bring in some other firepower. But for now, I do like that. ETN has been on fire. You still have JaMychal Hasty, who it can put up points as a little. And then so many at the wide receiver position with Kirk and Marvin Jones and Zay Jones. So I like that. Now we've got 2 more to fill. We probably should include another quarterback. Gosh, Rodgers been so bad this year. He's really only broken 20 points, I think, once this year. It's really ugly. I know I mentioned the Kansas City aspect, but because we're just so light at the others, I think it's probably worth including as a one-off, even if they only play 2 games or something and they lose to Cincy in the conference championship. I think it's probably worth including. Now we need 1 more. All right. We're not going to go Green Bay. We're not going Dolphins. We don't want a defense, and we don't want the Bucs. So maybe we go with the second tight end here. Goddard's we love, but probably not going to play many games and probably plays Dallas. Chargers, Gerald Everett, but also you're getting Donald Parham. First round, they're probably going to be the 5 seed and playing at Jacksonville, at Tennessee. Yeah, you don't love it here, but for a one-off tight end, it may be worth it. Because what we're really competing against is like Kittle for that first round or 2. And then I don't love really much here. I'm leaning. What do you guys think about the Chargers tight end? That's kind of my lean here. I see Ben Cummins saying finish with Goddard. The thing is with the Goddard is We're only going to get one game at most out of either them, or we would only get 2 out of this stack here. Does that cripple us a bit too much for the playoffs? I'm going to put in the Chargers here. Again, you're getting Parham, you're getting Gerald Everett, you get that combo, and I'll let you all decide later on, whoever wins this, whether or not what they want to pull through there. But overall, I think there's a pretty strong pack. I mean, we quickly went through, but like, hey, a Cincy San Francisco Super Bowl is probably one of the 6 or 7 most likely matchups. So really like that. And of these positions, we're getting some like, hey, for San Francisco, yes, we would have loved San Francisco running back. But besides that, like wide receiver, tight end, and defense are some of the best ones on there, much better than QB. From the Cincy side, yeah, we would have loved wide receiver, but hey, Cincy QB, Cincy running back, still very strong. Best 2 positions on Dallas by far. I like this card a lot, so I'm excited. That's gonna be a fun one to give away. So one last time, I see Keith putting it in. Mitten! Exclamation point! Mitten! Exclamation point! Caps don't matter. Put it in, and in a couple minutes, we only have we got more people watching than in the giveaway tool. So make sure right now, put it in the chat, put in that exclamation point, get yourself eligible for this. Any other questions? We'll take a minute or two. Any other questions that you guys have on the TOC playoff best ball strategy wise, logistics, or for Underdog draft strategy, anything there? Happy to kind of talk through. After this, in about 20 minutes or so, I'll be hopping over to the ETR, Establish the Run YouTube channel, drafting some more playoff best ball over there, talking some more strategy over there. As I've mentioned before, I've also got rankings and a strategy article up on the ETR site if you are a subscriber over there. Hi, I think we are ready to go. Let me move over to the other giveaway tool. And this is what you all get for joining us on a nice little Thursday morning. There are only 14 entries, 1 out of 14 chance. Someone give me the math. That seems to be about like 7% chance of any of you winning this. And that's a pretty nice pack, San Francisco and Cincy. So best of luck. Here we go, spinning that wheel. I don't know if it's a wheel. Oh, and oh gosh, I was just about to say it. And one of those is mine because I typed it in to show you guys. Well, we're not going to include that. That's hilarious. Let's draw again. Yeah, where's hashtag rigged? And our winner is Sizu. Oh, with the nice Jolly Joker. Hey, we are 2 for 2 with Jolly Jokers winning. I'm not saying that it gives you a better chance. Maybe the giveaway tool on StreamYard knows what's up. Sizu 316. Love that Joker. Open up a ticket in the Jolly Joker Discord, and I see Coop in chat. Obviously, OTM was locked to end up winning it. That's hilarious. And we will send you over this pack. Okay, this was fun. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. For people who are tuning in late, put a comment in the chat if you have any questions, or obviously head on over to the Jolly Joker Discord. Happy to answer them there. Like, subscribe, everything else that I probably forgot to say. We'll be back tomorrow with a special show with a little Friday happy hour show at 2 p.m. with special guest Coop. That's going to be a fun one. Bring your wine, bring your beers, bring your milk. We're going to have a couple drinks and do some more ripping playoff best ball packs and drafting from Underdog. So once again, thanks everyone for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. if you got nothing else to do, hey, come on over, hang out on the ETR YouTube channel. You can find the link on my Twitter page when it goes live in 20 minutes. I'll be there, and we're going to draft some more Underdog. So have a great rest of your Thursday, everyone. Later.